Mines are probably the worst type of explosive in the Fallout universe, but here I am to attempt to answer a question that no one has ever asked. Today, we will try to beat Fallout 4 using only mines. Before we could start this game of explosive frisbee, simple rules need to be set. Rule number 1, I can't deal damage to anyone unless it's with a mine, and rule number 2, absolutely no sneak build because those are for beta cuck Fallout players, and we aren't one of those. Let's get to it. I know it has been tradition so far to make really ugly characters in my challenges, but using only mines is something a Chad would do, so I made my character reflect exactly that. I named him after a loyal viewer and dumped my points into perception, endurance, and luck. Perception was necessary for that sweet demolition perk, which was going to be imperative for this run. After spending time with the wifey, we were sent off to a basement as we weren't invited to watch Mr. Adam pound Massachusetts real good. I awoke from my beauty sleep, ran through the vault like a sissy boy, hid from a bunch of rad roaches as they were bullying me, and then freed myself. I reunited with Codsworth and then located the thing I needed most for the beginning of this playthrough. These little gold nuggies are important, and I'll explain why later. After finding a cool creeper coat, I hauled booty to my next destination, Concord. I sat in a corner and opened up a Twitch stream because we all know Kanye West's aim is comparable to my social life. Non-existent. After hanging out a bit, that apple pie looking turd finally did it, and I was able to complete my first quest. I put my skill point into demolition expert, and instead of helping Preston save his settlement, I skedaddled my ass to Big Dong City. Here's the plan, boys. Clearing out Preston's sex dungeon would be impossible without a weapon, and the only weapon I can use is an explosive frisbee. Fortunately, in Fallout 4, vendors sell those. So my plan is to scavenge everything this playthrough like a deranged drug fiend to buy the one thing that matters most in my life. I'm going to hit Dong City, buy some mines, and come back to save Dad. I set off to the city, met up with Granny, watched her fuck a homie real good with a 9mm, as the young kids say nowadays, and stole the loot clean off their body. Shit, Grandma even paid me for supervising the massacre. I made sure to pick up everything I could find along the way to the city and found a trader to sell them to. It was time to feed my addiction. I was able to buy 10 mines, but that wasn't going to be enough. My next step was to do Mr. Toy Story side mission. It was going to bring easy junk to sell, so this was a no-brainer. After selling off all the shit I salvaged, I was able to get 5 more mines, and now it was time to save Kanye's music career. This part actually wasn't that difficult as I thought. I turned a group of raiders into canned pasta, and that was about it. Get out of here, nobody likes you anyway. This run would definitely be about me getting multi-kills to get the most out of my mines. After blowing all the raiders in the museum, I went outside and let Preston take care of all the baddies. I did have to help with the Deathclaw though, because it was going to take an eternity if I didn't. I scavenged all the bodies and then quickly went off to go sell what I found. After purchasing more mines, I turned in the quest to Kanye, and now it was time to save Mr. 305, aka White Knight Nick. This is how I'm gonna have to spend most of this playthrough. Waiting for fucking vendors to reset. Mines in hand, I could tell you, I fricked Skinny's men real good. But I realized that this was going to be tedious as hell because for some reason they are allergic to these things. Dino got the dicking he deserved and then I freed my man. Fortunately, with him free, I can save a few mines and let him do the killing. I grabbed my amiibo and then played with it as Nick killed everything. I confronted Skinny Malone and failed the speech check. I literally got saved by a level up and watched as his men came like lambs to the slaughter. I took a nap and now it was time to kill Kellogg the Frosted Turd. I was only level 8 though, so before I could do that, I needed to hit the hyperbolic chamber and restock on supplies. I was only 2 levels away from 10, which meant I'd be able to craft my own mines, but until then, I had a trial to face. It was now time to attempt Fort Hagen. I'll tell you this, I got booty blasted over and over, leading me to actually rage and take a break from the game for about 2 days. I got rid of my beta attitude though and came back stronger than ever. I was a Chad with a dream and it was time to finally prevail. I played explosive frisbee with the synths, ran past all the obnoxious turrets, dealt with the nightmarish patrollers, clenched my booty hole a bit, and finally made it to Kellogg. The plan was simple. Plant a bunch of mines leading to the back room, leaving single mines for the synths, and then a nice little stockpile for... Oh, that plan didn't work, so I formulated another one. Don't mind me, boys. I'm just bringing you a little housewarming gift. My new plan worked, and it was glorious. I completed Fort Hagen at level 8, with 26 mines, and I was feeling great. After leaving Fort Hagen, I received a quick reminder that my IQ is lower than a refrigerator because I forgot Kellogg's brain augment. I went back, retrieved it, and then explored Kellogg's brain. In his memories, I witnessed a dangerously gorgeous Chad trapped in a cryopod, and then figured out Kellogg's Frosted Flakes recipe. From there, I retrieved a Supa suit and traversed a glowing sea to find my beloved Virgil. I defecated a couple of times traveling through, but it was okay because the warmth was nice. The first act has now concluded, and it was time to rebuild my arsenal of mines. I finally got level 10, so that meant I could finally craft mines. I scavenged the waste to grab everything I could to craft my babies. What can I say? A man's addicted. I was going to need these bad boys for my next feat, taking out the damn courser. After what felt like an eternity, I finally got what I needed to press forward and continue on this challenge. This was where the fun would begin. The gunners fucked me like the high school whore. Like literally, they passed me around and spit roasted my bitch ass. I ran through the building, killing whoever I could with my frisbees of death and Adam, and fortunately, I had stim packs, so I was able to just bum rush to the end. The courser was simple though. I avoided conversation with the dude as if he was a plague, and planted my hotcakes. Honestly, watching the named enemies go boom boom when they walk into my minefield is the most satisfying thing ever. Chip in hand, I needed to get it analyzed. After having the Tubman's dirty, grimy hands all over the chip, I robbed them blind and then skedaddled back to my boy toy Virgil to get my plans for my Walmart 3D printer. Now it was time to pick a side. Kanye was the option I chose to go with this run, not only because he is probably the only person that treats you like a Chad in this game, but because I don't want to side with the same group every time and bore you guys. First, I had to gain Kanye and the Minutemen's trust so I can get into the Institute. I went to Corvega and attempted to exterminate the pest problem they were having. My arsenal of happy frisbees was running laughably low, so I had to make them count. I was worried I would actually have to kill all of the raiders in the warehouse, but all I had to do was kill the big baddie. After bestowing my love upon his soul, I grabbed what I could and bolted out. The best part was, I was even greeted with a couple of happy faces on the way out. I love this place. Kanye then let me know he was going to get me a spot on his record label, and my next task was to build my 3D printer. After building the printer, I photo scanned my butt cheeks and sent it to the Institute. While I was there, I told my son he was a mistake, talked to his fellow churchgoers and pastors, got my free XP, and then got the hell out of there. I was now at about 60% of this run complete. I was so close, but my arsenal was looking dire, and I had a couple quests to go before the nuclear option. I quickly rebuilt Sanctuary into a waste landfill, suiting for Kanye following his recent album, and after, went to go save some turd from another settlement. Turning my enemies into wonton soup was easy, and because of my accomplishment, it was now time to take the castle. While walking there, I witnessed something I didn't know that could happen. 2 death claws, making sweet, passionate love. That was pretty heckin' cool, man. Seeing Kanye made me realize why I chose to side with this man. He brought me frisbees. A Chad wouldn't want anything more. God bless this man. After a long and hectic game of frisbee and playing Death Around the Rosie with the queen, we prevailed in taking the castle. I was one step closer. A vendor reset later, and it was time to go save another settlement. Fortunately, for these quests, I only had to kill named enemies, so I blew the fucker to smithereens and went back to Kanye. I raided the armory under the castle, nutted my panties because of the mother load this place had, took a nap after completing the quest, and did another vendor run so I could sell all the things I obtained. Unfortunately, I was tasked with another one of Kanye's shitty missions, and honestly, this crap is actually more monotonous than my granddad's stories. On this episode of Save the Goddamn Settlement, I had to waste all my mines that I farmed on ghouls. This led me to cry and actually hate myself for siding with Preston. To cut the shit and save you guys time, as I had to save quite a handful of settlements, I went through helping these people for the main plot line. I never had to deal with such a fucking nightmare before. Doing the quest, I would constantly run out of mines and have to vendor farm over and over. I finally ran out of settlement quests, but I didn't know what to do from there. So I went to the Institute, slapped my son in the face with a couple of frisbees, and traveled to the castle, hoping the main quest would start. It did, and I was hyped. I planted my defenses and hid. It was nice to relax, as Kanye finally did something for once and did all the work for me. There it was, the only thing that actually mattered to me after everything I've been through, the nuclear option. I salvaged everything I could to sell off, and did a couple vendor resets. Now, it was time to take down the damn Institute and end this run. My perseverance was tested as I swam through some poo-poo water. I ran past the synths and let Kanye into the Institute. This was going to be his concert, after all. I laid back and literally let them do most of the work. We traveled through room by room, and Kanye hit them with his new mixtape. Everything was going well, but it was just taking a while to get through it all. Surprisingly, just like Preston, the rest of the Minutemen also hit no harder than a man with erectile dysfunction. I finally made it to the last room, but for some fucking reason, Preston was nowhere to be found. I laid my mines and let his men do the dirty work. After what felt like a goddamn hour, they finally cleared out the last room, and I was there at last. I armed the bomb, and it was over. God bless Todd Howard, this shit was finally over! You can beat Fallout 4 with mines, and to be honest, it would have been much easier if I planned it out beforehand. If you enjoyed this video, comment to have a chance at being named as my character in the next video. The support recently has been great, and thank you to all that have subscribed and commented. Be sure to tune into next week's video, where we partake in the dissecting of an irradiated Twinkie.